there's a reason that we normally do monthly wrap-ups, because this is insane. This is too much. We have 32 books that we need to talk about today, so let's just get started. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my August and September wrap-up. I read a total of 32 books. 20 of them were read in August. I don't know what I was on in August, but I was a little reading machine. I was a speed demon if you asked me. I need to talk about them. If you enjoy this video, please make sure to hit the little like button. It really does help me out. And if you want to see more content from me, make sure that you're subscribed. The first book that I read in August was Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. This is the sequel to One Dark Window, which you all know I absolutely loved. I ended up giving Two Twisted Crowns 4.75, which is the exact same rating I gave One Dark Window. Such a solid duology. Obviously, I cannot tell y'all anything about this book because this is a sequel, so let me just tell you what One Dark Window is about because y'all need to read it, and it's the perfect book for fall. It is a gothic fantasy with a little sprinkling of romance. I wouldn't call it a full-fledged romantasy because it's a dash of romance, if you will. I will say the sequel does have more romance though. It does. But in One Dark Window, we are in a world where there is good magic and bad magic. Good magic you are able to use whenever you touch a card. Each card has a specific skill. So once you touch a card, that magic that the card possesses is the only magic you can use for the time being. Now the bad magic happens whenever you are infected, and the kingdom does not like when you're infected because they don't know what powers you are going to get. So they have to handle you, get rid of you, figure that out. Our main girl, she ended up getting infected when she was younger. Her family was actually able to keep her under the radar, so no one knew that she was infected. And also her family's like, oh my goodness, we made such an amazing decision not telling anyone because she didn't end up getting any powers. Like, that is so crazy. That is actually because our main girl knew that she needed to keep it a secret from everyone, including her family, because she has this little voice inside her head, this little parasite that we don't know whether he is good or bad. It is a little monster, and he is called the Nightmare. He can see everything, hear everything. Honestly, if she gives him control, he can take over her body if he needs to. And you go from there. It is a crazy time, and I really appreciated the format change in book 2. The format change was actually everything to me because you get to jump into different perspectives, whereas in the first book, you're only in one. So I do feel like you get a bigger picture within the sequel. Highly recommend. It's on Kindle Unlimited, by the way. Next, I ended up reading Picking Peaches by Ansley B. Calloway. I picked this one up on a whim. This one was recommended to me, and I needed a book that night, and I said, you know what? I am reading this. This is a single parent small town romance. This one was cute. This was a cutie little time. 3.25 stars. I don't know if I'm going to continue on in the series, but for what it was, I had a lot of fun. It was also really short, by the way. It was under 300 pages. We were following this girl. She just moved into this small town. She has a very awkward encounter with this very attractive man in the grocery store. She starts to move all her stuff into her new place. She looks outside, and who does she see? That same man from the grocery store, and he turns out to be her neighbor. He is a single dad. He offers to help her move in, and his kid actually grows a very quick attachment to her, so they are always over at each other's houses, and the romance grows from there. The next book that I read was Fall With Me by Becca Mack. This is the 4th book in the Playing for Keeps series. I just need to tell all of y'all right now, I have a love-hate relationship with this series because I loved the first book, Consider Me, meh with the second book, loved Unravel Me, and then Fall With Me, would you guess, was pretty meh for me. I'm thinking 3 stars, maybe 3.25. I will say I'm actually really optimistic for book 5 though, because of my pattern within this series. I feel like I should absolutely adore book 5, but book 4 fell a little flat for me, and in all honesty, it is my least favorite of the series. In book 4, we are following Jackson. He is the bad boy on his hockey team. He has a horrible reputation. He is a ladies' man. He can never keep a girlfriend, and he doesn't want to. He is really happy with this lifestyle. We are also following our female main character, Lennon. She was supposed to be getting married and going on a honeymoon, but something happened. Wedding did not occur, and she went on the honeymoon by herself. Who does she end up running into while she's on her honeymoon? Jackson. Who does she decide to spend a really great and magical night with on her honeymoon? Jackson. So they end up having a one-night stand. She goes back home. She leaves that morning, doesn't really say anything to him, literally is like, gotta go. A little bit of time has passed. She is completely starting over, moving into a new town, starting a new job. She is going to be a photographer for a professional hockey team. And would you look at that? It is actually the same hockey team that Jackson plays for. Wow, what a coinky dink. What a coinky dink. And no matter what the two of them do, they keep being drawn to one another, and some fun antics occur. Now, I did have a fun time with this book, but it's really long. It's over 500 pages, and for a romance book, like, that is a little long in my opinion. And then certain things would happen within this book that made no sense for them to happen. Like, I don't even know if we would call it coincidences or not. It just seemed very easy to get from point A to point B. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And it wasn't just like one instance, it was multiple. And I would give you an example, but I literally can't without spoiling it. So if you're very, very curious, message me and we can chat, but it happened more than once, so it really stuck out like a sore thumb every single time. After I finished Fall With Me, I was in a bit of a reading slump, and so I picked up Ask for Andrea. It is a thriller, it is fast, it is so short, and I flew through it, and it actually reminded me of Lovely Bones, because this book is told through the perspective of 3 women who have been unalived, which is so unique. So I just kept thinking of Susie Salmon from Lovely Bones, because that is essentially how Lovely Bones is told. But this story was so interesting to me because each of these women had been unalived by the same man. One of them is sticking to him like glue as it goes. She's like, I'm not letting you out of my sight. The other one is trying to find her family and trying to give them some sort of peace. And then the other one is just trying to figure out what the heck happened, and she wants her body to be found. Eventually, they do all come together and they are trying to get the police to figure out who this man is. And it is a crazy time. The reason that I am giving it 3.5 stars is because I wanted more from the ending. This was such a crazy time that I was like, this ending is gonna go there. It's gonna be wild. It is going to be exactly what I'm after. And the ending was a little lackluster for me. It was a little bit of a letdown. I feel like the author could have done a bit more with it, especially since leading up to that final moment was so charged. Like, it was such a charged moment where I was like, yes, this is exactly what I've been waiting for, and it just missed the mark a little bit. But I still would recommend this one. This was a very quick read and it did the trick pulling me out of my reading slump. So snaps to that. After this, I had the time of my life. I ended up reading The Right Move by Liz Tomford. I actually have a spoiler-free reading vlog up, so I won't tell y'all much about it, except I gave it 5 stars. I gave this book 5 stars, and I am still thinking about this thing. After I finished The Right Move, which is a basketball fake dating romance, is the second book in the Windy City series, I was like, you know, why the heck not? We're gonna binge read the rest of these books. Now, I don't have reading vlogs for these, so I am gonna explain what the plot of these next books are. The third book in the Windy City series is called Caught Up. Again, it's by Liz Tomford. I'm giving this one 4.75 stars. These books are huge for romance books, by the way, and they held my attention from beginning to end. This is what I wanted from Fall With Me. And so when I just started this series, I was just like, we are bulldozing through it because I need to be with these characters. The found family was everything to me. But this third one is a baseball romance, and I actually think that this is the first baseball romance I have ever read. It was so fun. We are following Kai. He is a single dad. He is the pitcher for his baseball team. He's really good at what he does. And since he is so amazing and his position is so important, the team actually allows him to take the nanny with him so that his son can be with him while they were on the road. Now, he is very nitpicky when it comes to the nannies, like very, very nitpicky. So he has gone through a slew of them. He cannot keep a nanny for the life of him. His coach, who is essentially his best friend, like they are very, very close, is like, you know what? You need a nanny, I need a favor. My daughter is coming into town for some reason. She is spending the rest of the summer here. We're gonna make her the nanny so that she can be with the team for the rest of the season. I can spend some time with her and you can have someone take care of your kid who I trust and who you should trust. Let's now pan to his daughter, who is named Miller. She is a world-renowned chef. I believe it's a baker actually, and she is in a creative block currently. She does not know what her next move should be. She is drained, she is burnt out, and this is why she is coming home. She actually hasn't told her dad any of this. Her and Kai actually have a bumpy start. You can tell that there is an initial attraction there, and she's really good at what she does. His kid is obsessed with her, and their love story was just fantastic. It was fantastic. I was grinning ear to ear, and my favorite character was Isaiah, who is Kai's brother. And would you look at that, book 4 is Isaiah's love story. So let's talk about Play Along, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars to. And to be quite frank and bold, I think this is my favorite. I somehow think that this book has dethroned The Right Move for me, which has just made me the happiest person in the world. And so Play Along, as I said, we are following Isaiah, Kai's brother. He has been in love with Kennedy since the day he met her. Kennedy works for the team. She is a doctor. She honestly is not treated too well by the rest of the staff because they do not believe that she is as good as them because she is a woman when she is a actual doctor, just like them. But The story will get more into that than I will, but he has been in love with her. Kennedy is having a rough go at life because she was engaged. She was engaged for a while, and then would you look at that? Her engagement is over because her fiance cheated on her with her stepsister. Not only that, but after this happened and her engagement fell through, her ex-fiance decided to propose to her stepsister. And so now Kennedy is forced to be a bridesmaid in a wedding that should have been hers. Yeah. And so while Kennedy is on her sister's bachelorette trip, she runs into Isaiah, and her and Isaiah get to talking because Kennedy would literally rather be anywhere else in the world. Her and Isaiah hang out, and when they wake up in the morning, they learn that they got married while in Vegas. She married Isaiah while she was in Vegas. Now, remember a minute ago where I said that the staff is not very fond of Kennedy and they do think very less of her because she is a woman? Well, they essentially tell her like, well, you broke the fraternization rule. We should really fire you, and like, you got married in Vegas. This is not a good image for any of us on the team. And Isaiah steps in and is like, we got married because we're in love. We hid it under the radar to be professional. We are in love. This is not a sham of a marriage. And so they have to keep up all appearances that they have been in love for years and that this marriage is intentional. Otherwise, Kennedy could get fired. It is fantastic. It is literally fantastic. And Isaiah is the love of my life. Please go read the series. Mile High is the first book, and I DNF'd that book. I could not stand it. It did not work for me in any way, shape, or form, but the rest of the series was phenomenal, and they are literally about 500 pages per book, and I binge read them in like 4 days. It was over and done with, and I need more. After this, I read The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. I'm giving it 3.5 stars. Again, I won't go in too much depth on this book because I have a spoiler-free reading vlog on it if you want to know what it's about and all my thoughts. Click the video. Same for our next book, which is Darling Venom. I think this one's by Parker S. Huntington. I am giving this one 4 stars. Had a fun time with it. Kind of read like reality TV or like a CW show. I couldn't look away and I ate it up. Literally devoured in like a day and a half, if that. Make sure to check out the spoiler-free reading vlog if you want all of my thoughts. This is when it gets really exciting because the next book I read this month was Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. And this is one of my new all-time favorite books. It was so good. This book is so sad. I gave it 5 stars and I sobbed my eyes out. Like, my heart had been ripped out, dropped on the floor, and just stomped on. But I loved it. I loved it. In this book, we are following Yasmin and Josiah. They were in love for years and years and years and years. Everyone looked at them being like, oh my gosh, you guys are like the best couple to ever exist. You guys are so strong, so in love. And then a series of tragedies hit Yasmin and Josiah's marriage hard. Very, very hard, and they are not able to recover from it. They end up getting divorced. They do have 2 kids, and they have taken their kids into account. So Josiah does not live too far from Yasmin. That way he is able to come and go as he pleases so that he can see his kids. It has been 2 years since they divorced, since everything happened in their lives that flipped their worlds upside down, and Josiah's like, you know what? I am ready to start dating again. I found someone that I really think I like, and I am ready to date them. Introduce them to our kids and date them. Yasmin's like, oh, already? Really? Okay. She's not okay at all. She is finally starting to feel like herself again. Side note, this book has amazing mental health representation, especially when it comes to depression. And Yasmin is finally feeling like herself again. And so Josiah wanting to start dating is not something Yasmin was expecting. So now both of them are at the point of, is there anything left of us? Can we salvage what we lost? Do we need to move on? Is there anything that we can do before I finally let go of the relationship? This book was so good. Oh my gosh, Kennedy Ryan nailed it. Like, she literally knocked it out of the park because depression and grief are not one size fits all. It was so beautifully portrayed, and I did not think that this book could get any better. And then I read the sequel, which is This Could Be Us, obviously with Kennedy Ryan. This is a 6 out of 5 for me. This will be in my top 5 of the year, maybe even like top 3. I loved this book, and I loved it more than Before I Let Go, and I didn't think that was possible. Oh, I didn't think that was possible. We are following Yasmin's best friend. His marriage is not in the best spot. She doesn't really understand why. She's trying so hard to revive it, bring back the love they once felt for each other. And then, wow, out of the blue, her husband actually ends up getting arrested. He did some shady things that he did not inform his wife about. And so her world is flipped upside down because she's now thinking, this man that I spent so many years with, he fully went behind my back. He betrayed me. Now he's in prison. We have 3 kids together who can't fully comprehend what their dad has done. And I haven't been on my own in like 16 years. I haven't had to provide for anyone in 16 years, and now I am the sole provider for our children. Can't stand to look at my husband, by the way. And it is just so good. It is so good. Oh, and did I mention that she actually kind of starts to fall for the man who put her husband behind bars? Yeah. Talk about mess. Talk about drama, but also talk about being able to start your life over and be successful and find a way to love yourself again. And it is beautiful, beautiful. Please read them. I think they're both on Kindle Unlimited. Y'all don't have an excuse. My girl, Catherine Cowles, came out with her newest book, which is Delicate Escape. 4.5 stars. I don't know how Catherine does it, but every single time I read one of her books, I cannot figure out the ending. And these aren't like full-blown thrillers. It's a romantic suspense book, and I can never figure out the ending. And I love it. I had like 3 culprits. They were all wrong. They were all wrong. And it's not like she threw this one in there out of the blue. Like, once she explained why this person was the bad guy, I was like, how did I miss all of these signs? How did I miss the signs? In this book, we are following Thea. Thea has recently moved to this small town. She has 2 jobs and she is only accepting cash as payment. She doesn't have a cell phone. She kind of lives in the middle of nowhere within this town, and she's very standoffish, especially when it comes to men. And our main male character is Shep, and he can see that something has really rattled Thea, and he wants her to feel comfortable enough to lower those walls with him. And he is the blueprint for book boyfriends, if I dare say so. He is the blueprint. He is so patient and understanding, and he listened to her and her needs and her wants. And it was just beautiful. The mystery aspect of this book is whatever is scaring Thea is coming back into the picture. Whoa, guys. And the fun thing with Catherine Cowles' books is every book within her series just gets better and better and better. And this was only book 2. This was literally book 2, which means book 3 is about to pop off. Book 3 comes out in November, and I am literally counting down the days. Don't mind me counting down the days. It was time for me to read a thriller, so I read The Unraveling by V. Keeland. I've not seen anyone talk about this book. It was actually really fun. I'm giving it 3.75 stars. In this book, we are following a woman in the year prior. Something insane and tragic happened in her life. She is just now starting to work again. She is a psychiatrist, and her newest patient comes in. He does not recognize her, but she immediately recognizes him because he was somehow involved in this tragedy. And so as he's talking to her, she's just thinking to herself, how are you okay? How have you moved on with life? How are you able to act this way? And I am still rattling with this every single day. And so after his appointment, she's like, you know what? I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna follow you everywhere you go, and I'm gonna see how you are coping. I don't understand this. And thus the obsession sets in. And so this is literally a story of obsession. And you go from there, and it is crazy. It is crazy. The reason I didn't list it any higher is because the plot twist wasn't really a plot twist. In my opinion, it was just kind of there. It is something I guess very early on in the book, which is a little upsetting, but overall, very strong book, and I definitely want to read more from V. Keeland. The next 7 books I'm about to just run through real quick because I read them in my 24-hour reading challenge. Spoiler-free reading vlog. If you want to hear my thoughts or what the books are about, make sure you check out that video. But rapid fire. I read Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. I'm giving this one 4.25 stars. Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young, 4.5 stars. So fun, so cute. Justice for Accidental Pregnancy. I am a stan of that trope, and I'm not gonna apologize for it. Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison, also 4.5 stars. The Night Guest, which I listened on audiobook, 2.75 stars. Bad Taurus by Caro Carver, 3 stars. And Until Next Summer by Allie Brady, 3 stars. Oh, and I also read Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto, 4.5 stars. This book was fantastic. I did not realize that this was originally Raylo fan fiction. It was so good. It was literally so good. And so I would highly recommend this book. I talk more about it in that reading vlog, but fan-flippin-tastic, guys. That is it for August. Let's roll into September. I read 12 books this month and I had some goodies. Y'all. The first 5 books I read in the month of September were for my literary fiction week yet. That video is not up, but it will be a spoiler-free reading vlog that I'm very, very excited for. So I am going to rapid fire through these. Just know that the video will be up very, very soon. And I had a really good time. I read Piglet by Lottie Hazel. This is a debut and 5 out of 5 stars. I literally loved this book with everything in me, and I'm aware that this book is not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but oh, I loved it. There were scenes in this book where it almost felt like a thriller because I was on the edge of my seat and my anxiety was through the roof, but it was not even like a thriller-esque book at all. There was no suspense at all, but I was holding my breath the whole time, and it was so well done and very profound. Like, I'm literally still thinking about this book to this day. So I do recommend Piglet, but please look into it because it does discuss triggering topics such as ED. I read Catalina, which I gave 3 stars to. I really enjoyed this book, but it's really short. It's under 300 pages. It is a debut, but my main issue with this book was it's told in a stream of consciousness. And so every so often it would just feel like our brains do when we think, just like rambling or word vomit. And so while the contents of this book were so good, the topics amazing, it really made me think about certain things I had never thought about before / change my perspective on a couple of things, but the format was not it. So I am intrigued to read more from this author, but not my favorite thing in the world. 3 stars, not too shabby. I read Blue Sisters by Coco Malloys. This book made me cry a lot and also made me call my sister. 4.5 stars. This is an amazing story of sisterhood. I kid you not. It was just so well done. It was so well done. We're following the 4 Blue sisters, and we are following them a year after one passed away tragically. And so we are literally following 3 of these sisters as they are making their way through the grieving process. They are all grieving very differently. And the 3 of them are all going through some form of addiction as well, which I find very, very interesting because they're all drastically different from one another. And so is what is like their driving force through this book. And this was stunning. This was like actually a masterpiece, and I really want to read Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I read Perfume and Pain by Anna Dorn. This was a 4.25 stars for me. I have never read anything like this book in my life. Literally, I've never read anything like this in my life. This main character is messy. If you want a chaotic, unhinged female lead, this is for you. In this book, we are following Astrid. Astrid is a writer. She went to an event and people were recording her and she ended up saying something that got her canceled. She is in the midst of a cancellation and she doesn't see what she did wrong. She's not holding herself accountable at all. Her publisher and agent are literally like, you need to get off the internet. Stop using certain apps. Stop saying things out of the blue. Let us handle it. Just work on a new book. And so while she's trying to work on this new book, she moves into this new house where she shares a yard with an older woman who Astrid's like, I cannot stand you. But inside she's like, wait, do I like you? What is going on? But also, on the other hand, Astrid is talking to someone else that's in a writing class with her. And the girl that Astrid's talking to is a little unhinged and some may say crazy. You are literally just following Astrid as she is making these messy, messy decisions throughout her life. It is very fun and reads really quickly. I got very lost in this book in a good way, not in a bad way. Next, I read Talking at Night by Claire Daverly, 3.75 stars. This is definitely for fans of normal people. Now, it is its own book, I will say that, but it does have a very similar aspect of you are following these 2 people through several years of their lives being like, are we something? Are we not something? Will we be something? Will we not be something? Which is very similar to normal people. I will say a lot of the key plot points are drastically different. So it is its own book and definitely can stand on its own compared to normal people. But the ending fell so flat for me and it made me so angry. I don't know what it was, but this book was like a 4.5 and then that ending hit and I was just like, hello? And so that was a little disappointing, but Talking at Night I literally read in one day. In one day because the writing style was so quick and fast and beautiful. So I do recommend, and maybe you will prefer the ending more than I did. Next, I read Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. 4.5 stars. 4.5 stars. West, are we actually actually kidding. West is everything. Oh, I love that man. In this book, we are following West and pop star Skylar Stone. Skylar Stone is coming to Rose Hill because she's going to record at Rose Hill Records with our man Ford, who is from Wild Love. Y'all know I loved that book so much. West is a single dad to 2 kids who are literally hilarious and very different from one another, which I really appreciate. Skylar needs a place to stay and West has an extra room. So she moves into, I think he has like a little, not like shed, but almost like a shed that has a bed in there, and that's where she is staying. This book was really fun. I very much enjoyed it. The only reason it's not a higher rating is because personal preference. I don't really like books that are about celebrities / musicians, specifically musicians. I just get secondhand embarrassment more than anything else. But a 4.5 with a book having that trope is a pretty dang good book. Let me tell ya. So I would definitely check it out, and I'm so excited for book 3 because I'm pretty sure book 3 is gonna be Marriage at Convenience. And I'm gonna lose my marbles over that, mark my words. I read an arc of Close Knit by Kels and Denise Stone. This book is for my Ted Lasso girlies out there. If you like Ted Lasso, specifically Roy Kent, you will love this book. You will literally love this book because the main male character is literally Roy. He plays soccer or football because the book most part does take place in the UK, so we would say football. And he meets this girl. They have a one-night stand together. They're like, oh, we'll never see each other again. No big deal, even though that was an amazing night. He is moving into the team apartments, but little does he know that the apartment building is owned by the girl he had the one-night stand with's family. So she is also living there. She is a social media influencer for the knitting community. So very cozy vibes. And it's just so fun. He's so grumpy. She's just a delight. She is so delightful. She teaches the team how to knit. It is so fun. It's such a blast. And it also has really good mental health representation. So snaps to Kels and Denise Stone. This one's on Kindle Unlimited. Highly recommend. And the only reason it wasn't a higher rating for me is because there is a bout of miscommunication where I was like, really? Really? Let's just talk. Let's just talk a little bit. And they didn't for a while. And so that kind of irked me. But overall, great time. Okay, everyone settle down because next I read The Games God's Play by Abigail Owen. This book is literally Percy Jackson meets The Hunger Games, meets a very attractive Hades, who I imagined as Tom Ellis, aka Lucifer from Lucifer, and I gave it 4.5 stars. It is the first book in a new series, and it is fantastic. We are in this world where the gods exist, and every 100 years they host the Crucible, which is essentially the Hunger Games. Each round is based off of one of the gods. The gods create that round, and the players have to try and win / survive. The way that these games work, though, is the gods pick a representative from them. So a human representative. Hades never competes in the Crucible. And so when the gods are picking their little tributes and Hades shows up and he's like, I want this girl, the gods are like, what? Why is he competing? He has a reason for competing, mind you. You will learn about it. Our main girl is essentially stuck with Hades, trying to win this competition so she can survive, but also she's forming this attachment with Hades, being like, do I like him? Am I attracted to you? What is going on? It is great. Also, as a baby, she was cursed. She was cursed by Zeus, and his curse was that she could never be loved. And so if she wins the Crucible, all she's thinking about is, I can have Zeus take away this curse. I can finally find love and be in love and be loved back. That's our overall drive for wanting to win the Crucible. For the first book in a new fantasy series, Abigail Owens popped off, and the sprayed edges were literally everything. On Kindle Unlimited, you can binge it. Short chapters. So fun. Ooh, next I read The Wingman by Stephanie Archer. Y'all know I love Stephanie Archer so much. 4.5 stars. This book is a friends to lovers romance. She actually was engaged to his best friend, and she ended the engagement out of the blue. She needs a place to stay, and so she's staying with him because he was also her best friend. Hayden is the guy's name. He is a professional hockey player, and so he easily can afford for her to be living with him while she's trying to land on her feet. And she tells him, like, I haven't been on a date in like 6 to 8 years. I haven't done anything like that. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, will you teach me? Will you help me? And did I mention that Hayden has actually been in love with her for forever, and he's repressed these feelings because she was dating his best friend. And so when she's like, will you teach me? He, in the back of his mind, he's like, no, I won't teach you to go on dates with people that aren't me, but also, sure. It's so good. Oh, the tension, the angst. It's just such a fun time. And Stephanie Archer is very, very underrated. So I highly recommend any and all of her books. Next, I read Fear the Flame by Olivia Rose Darling, 4.25 star rating from me. This is the first book in a new fantasy series, and this is an amazing romantasy. The banter was everything. Think Game of Thrones meets Throne of Glass. And that is this book. Truly, we are following the lost princess. She is able to control these dragons, talk to dragons, but she hasn't been able to interact with them because she has been on the run. We are also following this man who is trying to find her and bring her back so that she can maybe make an alliance with the enemy of her people. It's crazy. There is a lot of political intrigue in here, and it was so fun. So, so good. And honestly, the banter was top tier. The banter was literally top tier. He calls her princess. He calls her princess, or he calls her angel, and she calls him demon. Period. I read Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. This is a 4-star rating. This also has a bit of a Hunger Games element to it. We're following Ophelia. She comes from a family of necromancers. There is an event going on called Phantasma. Phantasma is essentially the Hunger Games in a haunted house. So you need to survive the haunted house to win. There are 9 floors that you have to survive in Phantasma, and each floor represents one of the rings of hell. It is insane. And also there are ghosts and phantoms everywhere, and she may or may not strike up a friendship or alliance with one of the phantoms that we love. We literally love him, and he gives Danny Phantom vibes in the best way possible. Oh, and did I mention that if you fall in love while you're in Phantasma, you get cursed. You get cursed. The beginning of this book is rather slow. It took me 120 pages to actually feel very invested in this world and to these characters, which in my opinion is quite a bit of time, especially since the book is only like 400 pages. So that is why it's only getting a 4-star rating from me, but there is a sequel coming out, and it's going to be an interconnected standalone within this world, and I'm very, very excited for it. It comes out in April? Yeah, I think April. And then finally, I read If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. This book was so cute. This book was so cute. 3.75 stars. Literally look at that cover. Is that cover not giving fall? Oh my gosh, this is like Gilmore Girls meets When Harry Met Sally. Make it all take place in fall 1997. We are following our main character, Michelle. She moves to this small town because her mother just passed away. Within this small town, her mom owned an inn, and so Michelle is having to take it over. And then we are following Cliff, who is the town baker. He is a golden retriever, and he's just like Lorelai Gilmore essentially, and he is a single dad to 2 kids. It helps break down Michelle's wall. They form a friendship and maybe something more, and it literally is like gender bent Luke and Lorelai from Gilmore Girls, and it was so cute, and I really, really loved it. So I definitely want to go back and read her backlist. Okay guys, so those are all the books that I read in August and September. Let me know down below what your favorite book from September or August was, and I will see y'all soon. Thank you all so much for being here.